Where's James? James or Tracy? Where is he? Here he is. Here's another story to sort me out.
Now, Michael. James, okay.
Here's a mic here, bro.
Mic up a bit.
You feel the mic here? You got it.
Yeah,
right
right up at the
there.
high, mate.
Oh, yeah, sort that. Okay.
Nice and close.
Hi everybody, I'm James. I'm here to tell you the story about my wife. Okay, I've been a recreational smoker for a long, long time. And I can't believe that this is always left as a last resort. That's what really gets me. It's the last resort. It should never be the last resort. It should be one of the first resorts. Yeah. That's the thing. Anyone that needs it, don't listen to the law. There's another thing. I haven't listened to the law since a long time, particularly over these sorts of things. Anyway, cut a long story short, my wife has brain tumours. She's been battling them for 8 years. She's had 4 surgeries in those 8 years. The first one was to remove an egg-sized tumour that had been putting her in mental institutions and such like for most of her life since she was a teenager. She's in her mid-30s now. Okay, about a year ago was her last surgery, just under a year ago. June last year was the last surgery to remove yet another tumour. She's had radiotherapy in this amount of time as well, which has made matters even worse. She has oligodendroglioma, which is cancer of the nerve cells, basically, of the brain. I'm still a bit teary after Michelle's story, actually. Anyway, okay, so about a year ago, yet the other tumour was removed, June last year, June 3rd. And she's been seeing Dr. Charlie Teo in Sydney for the last 2 lots of surgery. Anyway, after the last lot of surgery, July comes around, it's time for another MRI. There is yet another tumour, the size of a walnut this time around, and this has happened post-surgery. So in a month, they're saying there's a walnut-sized tumour growth. So of course we're now talking very aggressive tumour. So their source of trying to fix this, like it was a choice, of course, you're giving the choice, was radical brain surgery. It didn't take us long to figure out that radical brain surgery says we're going to make a guinea pig out of you, right? The best that they could offer my wife for the results of post-surgery is she would never remember the day before. My wife is a nurse, obviously a mother, and my wife. So that was no option whatsoever. Anyway. So she started on the cannabis oil in July. First of all, from a friend, then we made a batch. Then, being poor people, like most cancer sufferers are, when you're not able to work, my wife is the breadwinner of our household too, might I also add. So we begged, borrowed and, well, I won't say stole because we didn't steal it. We begged and borrowed. And some nice people from just a little north of Sydney also helped us out there. I'm sure we all know who we're talking about there without mentioning names. And a few other friends. Fortunately, we live in a small country town, so we were able to grow our own. So we put our own plants in, and she was taking the oil all along as well. So we harvested our plants. Anyway, she's been going for 2-month MRIs and sending the results down to Charlie Teo. And we constantly keep getting, we're not going to talk, you've got to come in and see us, there's something going on, you've got to come and see us, you've got to come and see us, la la la. So we go for a second opinion about a month ago with the latest MRI. The doctors are looking at the MRI. They can no longer find the walnut-sized tumour. There's no scar tissue. There's no nothing. Okay, she has other masses we were still concerned about, but one of them they're now saying is scar tissue, one of them they're saying is stable, and that one's been stable for quite a long time now. So I just wanted to get up here and tell anyone else that's battling this horrific disease, whether it's cancer or whatever, that there is hope out there. I just wish it wasn't the last resort that we're all left with the small amount of education that seems to make it out publicly. Like I said, I've been a long-term recreational smoker. I've suffered PSD. The reason I'm blind is I had a work accident. I've got 3rd-degree burns to quite a bit of a percentage of my body as well. And I've used it for post-traumatic stress, pain relief and all that sort of stuff. But that dulls in comparison to the children that need it for epilepsy. People like my wife, that it's a life-saving thing. Like, she was given 6 months to 2 years maximum a year ago to live, and we're now looking at, well, 2 years? Don't think so. We'll kiss that off. So from 2-month MRIs, we're now up to 6-month MRIs. She's about to go back to work in approximately 2 weeks or 3 weeks back to her nursing position. She's aged care worker. So she's only obviously starting out slow again, not full shifts, but she's confident enough to now go back to work, and this is after 6 months to 2 years. We're going to see you later, bye, and that's the end of you. All I can say is encourage anybody, everybody, get on it, do yourselves a favour, to quote somebody, old Molly, and just don't listen to the law, disobey, and away you go. And that's all I wanted to get up here and say. Just give some people some hope. Thank you.
Great, James. Man, fantastic.
What a hero. Is Tracy here? Tracy, who came from Western Australia? Here she is. Good on you. And there's a short movie from Tassie from someone who couldn't come, from Lynn Cleaver, isn't there? I can't comprehend how anyone could argue about, well, brain tumour is one thing, but children with epilepsy, how can anyone argue about it, much less have trials? I have trouble with having trials on that. That's cool. Don't worry about looking at them at all. Talk into the mic.
Hi everybody, I'm Tracy from Perth, and to start off with I'm going to read a note that was put on today from a girlfriend of mine who I've actually been helping. Should medical cannabis be legal? Excuse me as well, because I've had tears for Michelle and also the guy before. Should medicinal cannabis be legal? In reply here is my comment. I will reply here as my comment got swallowed up in thousands of replies. Firstly, I would like to ask people, some of you may have even read this on the Today page. Firstly, I would like to ask people to refrain from being keyboard douchebags and not judge me. People who do not have special needs kids do not have the vaguest idea of what life is like. I actually have a brain injured son as well. Now I'm losing it. Have the vaguest idea of what life is like with a child who is autistic, Asperger's, intellectual disability. Only parents of children and their closest family and friends know.
Come on.
Can't even see it. Thank you. I was thinking a while back, well, my son is now 15, and instead of thinking of what direction for a career he might choose, I was worried about who is going to manage him if something happened to me. Sure, he has siblings, but that is not fair on them. Always saying to myself, why can't he just speak properly, tell me something other than a quote out of the movie? I had to prompt him to say yes or no daily. His mood's elevated also due to puberty. Wow. He is 6 foot tall and still growing enough. Said there. Hang on, sorry. And still growing enough, said there. I could go on and on about the frustration and sadness I felt every day, wishing he was normal for just a day. To hear him have a conversation. Oops. I'm sorry, people. I did think I had this together, but obviously I haven't. His mood's elevated also due to puberty. Well, yeah, okay, sorry. I felt every day wishing for a conversation, wishing that for one day I did not have to receive a phone call due to some behaviour problem at school. His wanderings, his refusal to do classes, just getting him on the special needs bus was a chore in itself. After reading and studying and listening to people was enough. I was ready to go down this path. My son has been on capsules for well over 2 months now. The changes, by the way, Lockie's autistic. Well, I said that before, but yeah. It was like a different person arrived in the house, but the biggest transition was his speech. We are all still gobsmacked at his conversations with us, prompting has gone, and he now has chats with his dad on the phone. I cannot even tell you how surprised and happy we are. I can sit and talk to my son and not expect some gibberish gobbledygook in a 3-word sentence. And for the first time ever as a family, we went out to a restaurant and sat. He ordered, he used his manners, he ate nice and complimented the waiter. Do you know what it's like to see a son who has been in some unwired state since birth put dishes away, put folded clothes away, pick up dirty dishes, talk to me, talk to other people, have an opinion? Sure, he has problems to overcome. He still has to tackle a few things. His writing has improved and much neater. It was very much like a 5-year-old's attempts. So back to the question. I find it frustrating when the scientific proof is there. It is already in use and legal in US. There is so many health benefits. We have to segregate the old image of people who use this pot to get stoned, having a bong or a reefer, then eating the house out of food. This is not about smoking and getting high. This plant is oil. To me, is gold. Gold for the mind, the body. This is the first and foremost plant that is here for a purpose. Let's not get lost in this image of being a recreational drug when it offers way much more. Anyone who has cancer or seizures, or in my case, a son who could not talk any more than 5 words strung together, will grasp at anything safe to prolong and improve his life. Please support this cause and demand we legalise this. Now that's a girlfriend of mine. Our story is a little bit different. My son was involved in a hit and run in 2011 and he suffered severe brain injury. For the last 4 years I was on 3 years I was on antidepressants, Panadine Fort for a neck injury, Valium to calm me down. I now take Canacaps and I use Canabalm as well. There's been shrinkage in other friends with a tumour on their brains. Stage 4 lung cancer has been cured. A girlfriend has a lot of carcinomas on her hand, as do I do. I've cured some off my face. Hers have all gone off her hands. This stuff has to be legalised and the whole plant needs to be legalised, not just a part of it. And that's pretty much...